Hello, this is Godel. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. Ooh, camera got turned around there. Since last time I have done some more prep for the Infinity Catalyst. Infinity Catalyst, as we briefly looked at it, needs, well, probably just better to go into the recipe to look at it. So it's this compact machine recipe. Takes empowered diamantine crystal, block of silicone rubber, neutronium block, flux block, hardened endurium glass, and then advanced chemical construct. So as I mentioned, I would make those between episodes, and I did. So there it is. And in fact, I am ready to go with it. So here's our stuff. I've already built the first one out here. All we need to do is throw neutronium in there, and it's gonna solidify up. And then we just need to build the rest of them. And I have my copy paste gadget here ready to paste a new one of those. We got the quest complete there. So I believe I can just, oh, whoop, can't paste that while it's, going, I guess, because the middle block there actually counts as a thing. Gee, I wonder if I can, curious if I can use my time in a bottle to speed that up. Yeah, I still have this set up over here using my time in a bottle, okay? We'll talk about what we just walked by here in a second, but I wanted to get these made first. Curious if this is going to work if we speed up the center of this. Whoa. Let's go. This is a major speed up for anything here that requires the compact machines. Anyways, there we go. We got our 9 Infinity Catalysts. We got the quest complete over here. There we go. We also got wetware mainframe, so technically we're not supposed to be able to make one of these yet. If we go to our circuit progression, where's our circuit progression? Yeah, our circuit progression, we actually get wetware supercomputers when we do this one. But we will need to make the prior ones first here, and we will need to get into... Oh, never mind, we can get into the UVH. Apparently we're in the UVH. Hang on, when did that happen? I mean, I do have Darren Stadium. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. Let me just put this circuit away. We can update our trophy here. Boom. Alright. Unlock the infinite. So, yep, those are done. I guess not really much more to talk about in regards to those. What we're going to be doing with those is putting them in the blast furnace with awakened draconium to get infinity ingots. And is there another quest for infinity ingots? I don't think so. There will be for draconium, but we will get there when we get there. So there we go. Talked about that. I did do the math on the neutronium we had, and I actually missed a few ingots that we needed to get our infinity chicken. I missed these over here, the ones that you needed to actually craft the, to craft this, and I missed the, where are they over here? These 8 blocks, so I had to go back and I summoned some more ender chickens. I had to do it twice because it just kept being annoying and like they kept phasing out of the world. I couldn't get like such a stable setup like I had last time, but I got it after I got the amount of dust I needed after some trial and error. Anyways, I did have to make some adjustments to the assembly line setup over here. So what was happening was that when I was pushing really large recipes into here, the subnetworks were using power, but they were using so much power that they were actually going offline. So I had to give each of these little mini subnetworks its own battery so that when it gets pushed a bunch of items into it, it doesn't just black out. Because when the network is off, the blocking functionality of the blocking functionality of the interface here cannot see what's in the network, so it just keeps pushing items into the interface. And I was like, oh shoot, don't do that, please. So we had a bunch of items just stuffed into one assembly line. So I came here and I just put a energy cell. I moved the quartz cable so we could put an energy cell on this little mini network here, and then an energy cell on both of these branches, and I did that change for all four of the assembly lines. Here's what it looks like from backed up a little bit. You can see that subnetwork, then this subnetwork with that battery, then there's the quartz cable and this subnetwork. And you can't connect the batteries to each other because they are... Actually, can you? Hold on. If I put a quartz cable here... No, I can't. Can't connect anything there. Alright, reconnect that. So yeah, that was the little tweak I had to do over there. That should be the final setup of the assembly line. I should be done messing with it now. And then you kind of saw this when I ran down to the fusion reactor, but I rebuilt my old oxygen vacuum freezers, and now I'm currently just converting a bunch of helium that we have into liquid helium so that we have a big stockpile of liquid helium for the reactor to be able to convert into the coolant plasma. Right now we have 8,000 buckets of coolant plasma. Of course, this is basically like one of our fuels we need for burning fuel. And what are we cooking right now? Oh, right now we're cooking the Starlight fusion stuff, so I wanted to get through this helium and then switch it back to the other thing I've been making. I put radon in here with some liquid gallium and started making some liquid duranium. So duranium is a fusion metal. We're not going to need too much duranium itself. Basically, we just need duranium dust for making this superconductor metal here, enriched naquadutrinium europium durandi dust. What a freaking mouthful, man. Duranide? I don't know. Anyways, we can just throw that in the vacuum freezer. Not vacuum freezer. Blast smelter. Did you get that? But that's one of the uses we need of this. So we don't need too much as far as the duranium dust goes, but we need more duranium to fuse again with liquid titanium to make tritanium. And tritanium is something tritanium we need for UV components. UV components. We need UV foils for the network switch. Tritanium foils for the network switch. Sorry. Just a lot of stuff needs this tritanium. Tritanium boxes. Yeah, they're just used all over the place for UV components. Bolts are used for nothing actually, but the screw is used for things. You know, you get the picture. You need a lot of tritanium. Also, americium we need for stuff. Americium. How do you make americium? So there's a fusion recipe for lutetium with chrome, and you can also just convert it from plasma, but to make the plasma you need to use your plutonium-241 with hydrogen, so that's kind of an expensive recipe. I don't think we have a lot of plutonium. Let's see, where's our portable plutonium? Yeah, we have 16 of those. How do we even get those again? We probably got them from the ferric sand that I dug up on Aurelia. All things considered, that's actually not too bad of a source for it. Okay, well, how's our fusion doing? It's doing well. I want to just drain the liquid helium from here. Anyways. So I also talked about the duranium I'm making, and then circuit progression. So circuit, the next thing we need in circuits I've been working on. So the next tier of circuits get kind of a little weird. Where's the circuit chapter? Here we go. So the next circuits start using like biocomputers. And in order to make those, we have to make something called the neuroprocessing unit, which uses stem cells and some sterilized growth medium. So the stem cells, we have this recipe in this mod pack where you can turn some soy milk, eggs, sugar, and infinity reagent into stem cells with some life essence. So that's one option. The other option is osmiridium into stem cells. You get 32 from this one, so it's a little faster, but this one's definitely like cheaper. So for now, I have this going in our multi-block mixer. Um, Sterilized growth medium. Sterilized growth medium is a little annoying. You have to take raw growth medium and put it in a fluid heater. But the raw growth medium is annoying because you need agar dust, mincemeat, salt, and calcium. Mincemeat I got a bunch from by not beet, meat. I used our farm down here, or what was our farm. Yeah, this place down here, you can see there's a bunch of gaps where there used to be stuff here. I just took all of our passive stuff that was down here. Oh look, I missed salmon actually. Also, there's 2 recipes in here. Are there, hang on, is there anything else I can grind down here while I'm looking at this? Salmon. We can't grind down ink sacs, right? No. Okay. Oh, fish we can grind down too. We have so much mincemeat though that I'm just gonna leave it alone at this point. We got so much from all the raw mutton and pork chops and everything that was down there. So yeah, we have mincemeat. Calcium dust we have a bajillion of. Salt we can make. Agar dust. Agar dust comes from gelatin with distilled water in an autoclave, and that gelatin comes from gelatin mixture in a centrifuge, which comes from collagen in a mixer, and collagen comes from bone and mincemeat. So we need mincemeat for multiple purposes here. The mutagen itself comes from putting enriched bacterial slug in a distillery. Sludge, not slug. And that comes from putting uranium in bacteria sludge. Bacteria sludge we have before from making crystal circuits. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about how slow that process is going to be. Also, I forgot to actually go up here and turn on the distillery by putting the circuit in it. Whoops. And then we got a auto output. This is not a dual interface, so it cannot accept fluids. Alright, put that back in there. Okay, so now we're finally getting some mutagen. Or not mutagen. Oh, this is the mutagen, okay. Potentially it might go and do some of these recipes in... There is the large brewing vat, which lets us do brewing machine recipes. What I would want for brewing machine would be... Honestly, probably not even the enriched bacterial sludge, because that is very fast, but I would want the biochaff to bacteria, probably. Because that's kind of a slow recipe, even in the IV one. We could potentially move the mystical petals over there as well. So I think that's all I'd really want from the brewing machine. We do lubricant from creosote oil still, so... fermenter... I don't think we need fermenter. Fermenter literally has one recipe, and it does not really get us anything that we really need. And then the last thing is fluid heater. This sterilized growth medium is extremely slow, so I might want to make one only for that. And then the rest of the stuff is stuff we do not really need. So it'd be like one multi-block brewing vat for this fluid heater recipe, and then one for these brewing machines. But then also this machine here, distillery. This is a regular distillery, not a distillation tower. So this could be another. I could make another one of these for distilling. I'll see. I'll see what I want to do though. Yeah, right now we need to make 11,000 mutagen, and it's doing 100 every 5 seconds. So That's like 10 minutes? Jeez. What did I even request? I requested one set of life support boards. Okay. Yeah, we're probably gonna wanna put that into its own distillery, because that is very slow. Um Anyways, so once we get those wetware boards, we can complete this quest down here, and then we can use those wetware boards to make master circuit boards, which will be used for neuroprocessors. Neuroprocessor is then a quest over here. I don't know what we need the worm for. Infinite bait. Yeah, I don't know why it's giving us worms there. I guess we could use the worms in the fishing trap to get meat, but like we're fine on meat, so. Stem cell synthesizer. What else are we looking over here that we need to work on? So this one needs infinity ingots, which we can make once we have the infinity chicken. Infinity armor is going to take, ooh, neutronium and Greg Tech neutronium, not the neutronium from the evil chickens or the ender chickens. Awakened draconium, we can imminently get that. We need to make awakened draconium with the fusion crafter, and to get this charged draconium, we just put in the sky cauldron. So that one's not too bad. What else do we need up here? Creative mill. I think I could have made this a long time ago. I just never did. Magic infuser. Yeah, nothing too outlandish there for the creative mill. Draconium, I believe we can go ahead and make. We have two ways to make this. We can either do, let's see, we can do the classic Blast EBF recipe. We're not going to do this Krypton recipe because Krypton comes from distilling Ender Air. We also get Tritium, which is used for plasma, I guess. Helium plasma, if we were using that. We get some Xenon, which is used for... Oh, we actually need Xenon if we're going to make these circuits, huh? Well, we'll see if we even get to making these circuits. I don't know. We'll see. We might. So I might need to go get some Ender Air. Anyways, the Draconium dust itself we can make with Stardust, Tungsten dust, and Infinity dust. So that's it's certainly a recipe we can do. And another alternative, though, to getting this is we can make liquid draconium in a fusion reactor. And I might do this one because this is cheap. We could turn one osmiridium ingot and then one red matter. Well, more than one. This is like 4 red matters. So one red matter would turn into like whatever 4 times 18 is. 64. That's not right, it's not. 72. It would turn into 72 liquid draconium, and then we would just need 4 osmiridium ingots, and that would turn into 72 draconium. So that's like pretty cheap draconium via fusion. I might just do this. What else do we need over here? Quantum link card. This is mostly just I gotta make it. Oh hey, we can actually do this recipe over here now. Let me go ahead and put some... Where's our double compressed? Every time I've been occasionally putting some in there. Here we go, just throw that in there. Yep, we ran out of TNT kind of as expected. TNT, just make 1,000 of those, please. So we got some singularities just now from that recipe, because double compressed plus TNT. We can use that for... Oh, I actually wanted to make a couple of these for our defragging system. So let me get those put together really quick. Alright, so hyper acceleration card you can put in an MEIO port and it makes it much quicker. So take those up, put those in, and then here, we can do a quick defrag to see just how fast it is. Yeah, that's quite fast. Before it was going much slower. You didn't see it, but It took like seconds for the whole thing, you know what I mean? Alright, so we got all of our singularities. Anything else we can do with singularity? Not really. We can do this. So why don't we go ahead and do this? The quantum link chamber. So go put this in here. Oh, I do not want the wetware circuit though. Please give me that circuit. Yes, that one is fine. This goes in just regular old assembler, okay. And then we can get our quantum link card. Except we are missing osmium cable, okay. That's not really something I expected to need right here. Here's some osmium cable, and then osmium wire we already have. Okay, so once again, quantum link card. Okay, that should be pretty quick to process. Oh my god, this mutagen is so slow. It's only done like 1,000 while I've been doing everything. Oh wait, no, never mind. That's stored. Okay, it's done a lot more than 1,000. All right, quantum link card done. Boom, another trophy complete. We get the magnet card, which I don't know that I necessarily want. Magnet card makes it so you can basically vacuum things up into your wireless terminal. You can put it up here, and then it would act like a vacuum. Like we throw these acceleration cards and small, or wait, maybe you have to enable it or something. Right click with an empty hand while equipped on a terminal. Right click with an empty hand while equipped on a terminal. I don't know what it means while equipped. Like in my offhand? Bro, I don't know what you're saying. Anyways, I didn't really want it anyways because if I'm getting stuff into my inventory, I usually want it in my inventory, not like flying into my storage, so. Everything done over here. Crystal clusters are done. They're just... Here, get this stuff out of there. Creative capacitor we did. Well, we found one. Creative energy cell would be nice because that frees up some power that we needed to power concerns, but we need a block of infinity, and I don't want to make more infinity without the infinity chicken, so we're going to wait on that one. And then lastly, this is probably the nastiest recipe in here. For this one, we need UHV machine hole, which is going to need neutronium plates. We're going to need the ultimate battery, which is going to be the most expensive research in the game, as well as be this ridiculous recipe: 128 UHPIC wafers, some neutronium bolts, 16 energy clusters, 4 wetware mainframes, and Durham statium. I think that's Darmstadium. I think that's a fusion metal. Yeah, arsenic vapor with liquid ruthenium. Okay. I don't think this is used for a lot of things, except, oh, it's used for UV machine casing. Never mind. Right, then. What else do we need? I think that's, like... Just waiting for our circuit over here. This thing is taking for gosh dang ever. Do I have an IV battery? I feel like I had a battery somewhere, but I think I converted it into the energy modules I used to upgrade our power substation, so I no longer have that battery. Okay, well, I'm gonna pause for a little bit. In fact, I might, let's see, how's our helium processing doing here? We've made a good amount of starlight coolant here. I might just leave this to swap back to the geranium. So let me go ahead and disconnect this helium tank here. So our helium's going to drain. So now that recipe is going to finish, and it should start doing, yeah, it should start using the radon gas. So now it's doing the geranium recipe because I have liquid gallium coming in down here. And you're just seeing the numbers flicker occasionally. That's just the conduit supplying it. If we go up to our fluid terminal, geranium, we can look and see, you know, there we go. It's generating geranium, right? You know, come to think of it, why am I using input hatches and conduits instead of just like a stocking, like a stocking, not a stocking bus, but ME hatches, ME input, wrong terminal. I'm also tired of making these. Can we just like make a bajillion of them? Thank you. Like that's not gonna take that long to craft those, right? How long could that possibly take? Because most of these just like, you know, get assembled very quickly. I guess it does have to use these assemblers for these recipes because those are circuited recipes. Looks like our mutagen finally finished over here. Sterilized growth medium is not as slow, but it is still kind of slow. So here we go. We're about to get our wetware circuits done, or our wetware. What is the process for this? Circuit assembler, LUV. Okay, well, there we go. There we go. Got some wetware boards. We can complete that quest. And then we can now make our wetware processor. So wetware processor. Wait, no. I wanted to do the neuro processing unit first. So that will just take a second here. Need some niobium titanium for foil for the board, so. And then there goes the neural processing unit that is also in the circuit assembler. 30 seconds in a circuit assembler is kind of rough. But it's 30 seconds at ZPM, and our circuit assembler is UHV, so let's go. Neuro circuit complete. No rewards for taking, but guess I can take the living circuitry achievement. Replace the infinity catalyst that was on it was on display for many minutes. Cosmic meatballs can just go in storage. I don't care about that. I mean, I'm just gonna like take this stuff and put it in storage at this point. I'm tired of seeing the exclamation points. All right, so now we can make wetware circuits. So wetware would actually be like a nice circuit to automate. It is a single step LUV, but like this neural processing nonsense makes it really annoying. However, oh, never mind. I was gonna say the wetware process with the next tier of circuit assembler using a highly advanced system on a chip still uses the neural processor. So I'm probably not going to be swapping all of our crystal processors because these are just very annoying to make. All right, let's make the next tier of circuit. So the wetware assembly, circuit assembler, and how's our mutagen? We used all we used all of the mutagen to make this. Hang on one second. What did the mutagen get used into? Mutagen, you used 4,000 to make 4,000. Then we used... Okay, so we should have sterilized. Sterilized growth medium. We have 0.05 buckets left. Oh, we have a good amount of raw growth medium. Okay. That's not too bad. Mutagen is like really bad though. Can we just like craft like 100 buckets of that? That's a lot of biochaff. Okay. Go ahead, please. Craft away. Really, this distillery process here is going to be the bottleneck. Oh, but wait. It has to do... It's going to do all the biochaff. Ugh. Yeah, maybe we do want to make that brewing machine. Oh well. So let's make our next wetware circuit. Go ahead and make one of these guys. So that should be nice and quick. We have the stuff that we already need to make it, well, the really slow stuff, right? The wetware boards. And that's going to cook up pretty quickly in our circuit assembler. There it is. Oh wait, I didn't take the quest for... I forgot to take the wetware processor into my hand. Whoops. Okay, let's make another one of those. Oh no, I thought it was making more mutagen, but I just missaw what it was making. And yeah, I'm really gonna complete these so that we can get these rewards, because these are actually some good rewards in here. I don't know why they're like putting food in the quest rewards at this point. It's kind of like useless. Right, wetware. Yep. Thank you for all of that noise and these rewards. So our next reward, I guess I'll just take these foods out of here. Yeah, sure, we can bank those. So the next thing we need to do is the next tier of wetware is not made in a circuit assembler. It is in fact made in the assembly line, as you can see. So we are going to go put one of these, and it takes a data orb. Yeah, data orb, which I guess we don't have any of, so I'm going to craft one up real quick. I don't need to sit here watching it. I can run over to the research station while that's going. Here we go. Pop this in, flip the switch, and away it goes. So that's what we're going to use to get our next tier of circuit. Let's go ahead and make it for the assembly line. So the assembly line circuit is... that is not what I'm looking for. Here it is. This recipe right here. Take out the data orb, encode that. Take a quick look that we have everything we need in here. It looks like we do. So let's put that in the assembly line. We're going to need a new one of this point-to-point soon. So wetware. We can go ahead and request one of those, though we're not going to be able to craft it because we need our research to be done first. So how's our research going over here? Over halfway done. I'm just going to pause footage, I think, until that is ready to go, or maybe come over here, check our situation with radon and liquid gallium. I think, like, however much duranium we make here should be enough. Oh yeah, I do want to... what's it called here? Refactor this system. Here, I don't want to keep using that. Let me go ahead and... Oh, what happened? We ran out of liquid radon. Okay. Let me remove this here. Liquid starlight hatch, I don't mind breaking. Let's get my ME input hatch. I'm like, why do I have 33 of them? Oh, yeah. I rage crafted a bunch of them. Get some junk out of my inventory. Smart cable. So with this, we can actually supply all of the fluids we want from this hatch right here. so we can get our radon. And then our gallium. Let me wait for it to finish this hatch down here first. This is like not crafting like incredibly quickly, even with this. Probably one of my goals between episodes is actually going to be to upgrade to the next tier of fusion reactor. I don't know that I need to show that on camera because it's just going to be like, hey, fusion reactor, here's this reactor, right? Now see the bigger brother, fusion reactor Mark II, which is more or less the same thing, except now instead of, if we go on the inside, instead of the superconductor blocks in here, it's using these fusion coil blocks, which are just a more expensive superconductor block because it has a superconductor in it. And then these fusion machine casings are also using those, which are very expensive, so... let's get our gallium in here. Alright, and then we'll put our starlight as well. There we go. Yeah, that's a bit nicer, just being able to directly interface it into one input hatch like that, instead of having to set filters over and over and over. I suppose I could also catch the fluid in the output hatch, but I kind of want the... wait a second, why is this fluid over here not typed? This should be starlight coolant plasma. I don't want random fluids going in here. I don't know how that got unfiltered. I thought it was filtered. Anyways, fusion reactor is set. I am time in a bottling it on automation for a bit, just because I have so much time in a bottle. And I've made so much gallium, I'm like, okay, this is going to take forever if I don't speed it up. Let me clear these filters and put them back into storage. Put some other things into storage that don't need to be in my inventory. Put some tools in my tool bags. I don't know why, like, I put stuff in my tool bags like the most inefficient way. I should be like, this is all tab 2 stuff. This is all tab 1 stuff. This is all tool belt stuff. Like, I went to the tool belt 2 different times. I went to tab 1 3 different times. Anyways, so liquid helium is continuing to go over here. Let's see how much liquid gallium we have left to go. I made 2,000 buckets of gallium, so that is way less processed than I was hoping for. How much uranium do we have? 400 buckets. I'm not really sure how much titanium we're gonna need. Maybe I can, like, quickly do the math. Oh, no, I can't, because it's a main component of the motors and such, and I don't know how many of those we're gonna need, so... Anyways, our wetware research should be done. Let's go grab that. Yoink. And then fly to our databank. Boom, faceplant. Alright. Our hatches are getting full over here. I did make a 4th advanced data hatch here, so now we have enough for 64 data orbs. But I don't think we're going to need that many. Anyways, here's where our wetware processor is. The ingredients were sitting in there, unable to craft, but now that we had the data orb put in, it was able to craft, and we can go back and get that quest done. Let's go. Wetware supercomputer. This is our first... No, this is not our first UV circuit, but it is a UV circuit, so... so boom, UV circuits. And then we actually have UHV circuit from another quest, so thank you, the other quest for that. It also gives us some enriched Naquita Trinium European Durain dewire. Thank you for that. Which I'm just going to go ahead and convert to 2x because we need it for both the mainframes as well as the network switch. Alright, And it gave us some more circuits. Ultimate stew, I don't think serves a purpose, right? Can we even make this? It's just gonna go in storage, I guess. Alright, so there's all the circuits in the game. We now have them all. So yeah, we don't really need to finish anything else in this chapter, but we can more or less consider this chapter done. Like, our multi-block covers the purpose of this, and when we get not UHV, UV input hatches will cover the purpose of that. The next thing we really need to do is kind of get to that network switch. So we need to look at liquid tritanium, which is going to be fusion reactor. Let me go ahead. We have liquid uranium. The only thing I'm going to need here is liquid titanium. Let me make a recipe for that. And let's put that in our extractor multi-block. However, we're not going to be able to make it in this fusion reactor because this fusion reactor is a tier 1 fusion reactor. So we're going to need to go ahead and make a tier 2 fusion reactor. And I kind of wanted to make this area over here be our fusion area because I feel like we're going to have more and more fusion reactors. But for now, let me go ahead and dig up some more space. I'm thinking to just have them standing up and then have like Cheerios of fusion reactors. So I wanted to see what our how big this guy is really quick. So maybe I should just measure it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so we are at -46, and then we go over here, and we are at 60, -60. So it's 14 or 15-ish blocks tall. So we're at 5 here. If I go down another 4 blocks, we'll be at 14, so... not 4 blocks, 9 blocks. So I feel like we're gonna hit our ore processing area. No, never mind, our ore processing area is way over here. That should not be an issue. Alright, let's go ahead and use the drill in our base very, very carefully here. Make sure we don't hit anything we don't want to hit. Right here seems good. Yep, that was sure a hole we just dug there. Okay, let's go ahead and just dig it out like so. And then I want to dig out one hit in this direction and then come back. Yep. Shoot. We're so far under our base that we can't even reach our wireless terminal. Okay, and then here, let me put the size back down so I don't destroy something I don't want to destroy. Oh, this is going to be annoying to break, isn't it? Let me put my one thing away for a second. How thick is this? Is that 4 blocks? No, that's 5 blocks thick. Okay, I can actually go ahead and... Whoops. Go ahead and set this to 5 and then hit it here once. And then we can set it back to 9 and go that way. Oops. Didn't mean to fall all the way down here. Yeah, talk about some major excavation here. And then... I think I also want to go ahead and bash this guy over here. I don't think we want to go the rest of the way here, right? Let me use this to get a shallow angle, and then I cut too deep anyways. Ah, well. Happens. I think I can go here, actually. Yep, okay. That was where I wanted. I didn't want to cut this extra wall here, but it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. And what do we do with all this cobblestone? We just put it in our pouch, to be honest, because next time we go mining and we dump this pouch, it's just going to, you know, dump it back in our system anyways, so. Alright, so here's where we put our fusion reactors, and the way I'm going to have them. Do I want to borrow this reactor to demonstrate? We don't need to demonstrate, but they're basically going to be like standing up like hoops in here, so you can imagine there'll be one standing up in here like this, and then we'll have another one, and that we're just going to make as many as we need. But it is time to go ahead and make those, so I think I have it ready to go. Fusion? I do not have the Mk2 fusion computer. I thought I put that in the assembly line. The actual controller for it. Oh god, this recipe is kind of nasty. Okay, not the wetware though. Can we just get... Now that we can make wetware, it's like, oh, do you want this one in your recipe? No, I don't. Get the crystal ones, thank you. Let's go ahead and see what else we need for this. Those UHPIC wafers are going to take forever to craft. Assembly line. I don't think we're going to be making any more Fusion Mark 1, so I'm going to actually retire that recipe. Also gives us more space in our thing over there. I'm going to leave it over here in that chest just in case we want it with some other retired recipes. Okay, so Fusion Computer Mark 2. What do you need? Double Nequadria plate. That is easy. Nequadria, because we have Nequadria. So double Nequadria plate. You are just going to go in the bending machine. Here it is. I was like looking for the wrong thing in the wrong place. That's... Oh, we need pattern expansion cards. I can't imagine us needing too many more patterns in here, so I'm just going to add one pattern expansion card. Does anywhere else down here need pattern expansions before I go away? Yes, you do. Okay. Alright, and while I'm here, I can just throw that in there. Alright, we should be able to make the fusion computer now. Fusion computer. And then we're also going to need 4 of these for the actual multi-block. So I'm going to order the fusion computer, which this is a lot of stuff to craft, but it's going to do it. And then I'm going to order 4 of those. And away they go. That's going to take a hot minute, but it will get done at some point. Bacteria sludge is going over here. How's our mutagen? Good grief. That is a lot of bacteria. I'm going to actually just go ahead and cancel that one. Curious what our bottlenecks are kind of looking like with a craft like this. So alloy ingots, kind of as expected, those take a while, but I think our bottleneck is going to be UHPIC wafers. Is it? Not necessarily the wafers. I mean the cutting machine part of them. What do we need to make these? Yeah, also the laser part of this is going to take a while too. Liquid vanadium gallium, we might be waiting on stuff in the alloy smelters here. What are you currently crafting? Oh yeah, we can't really look in there. And we can't really look in there either. Okay, I would have to like look through and kind of try to figure out what is currently being made. Looks like yttrium barium cuprate was being made, or maybe it's niobium titanium ingots. Yeah, it's those right now. They're popping out quite quickly. Oh yeah, there's our UHPIC wafers. How long do these take to cut? So it's taking 45 seconds, and this is, what kind of recipe is this? LUV? And what kind of hatches do I have on here? So we have LUV, it's UV energy, so it's able to do 4 parallels of that. I'm gonna actually take that one away because it's going to take for gosh dang ever to cut all of those. So I wanted to let the other wafers jump the line because those are going to be making a bunch of like circuits with those wafers. So, all right, RAM go. Yeah, see RAM, it cuts 16 of them in 6 seconds. Much better. I might look at upgrading our cutting machine input hatches, to be honest. Maybe upgrade this even to ZPM and upgrade it to 64 parallel. That'd be pretty nice. All right, how are we looking for supercomputer? It's doing a bunch of circuits at the moment. Alright, it's crafting the LUV field generators right now. And then it needs to make the crystal processor mainframes, which are... Those are in the assembly line, right? Yeah, they are. The fusion coil blocks are done. Anyways, I'm just going to come back once this finishes crafting, and then we can kind of go put down our next nuclear reactor. Oh, and while that's going, I'm going to make a bunch of fusion glass, because we can use that for this recipe right here. This is going to make like a stack of fusion glass. Oh, what does that need again? Nakoda... Iridium neutron reflectors, laminated glass, tungsten carbide. That's probably what's... Tungsten carbide and liquid tin alloy should be what's in our alloy blast furnace right now. Based on how fast this is going, yeah, I'm gonna say it's the tungsten carbide. But the tin alloy is also, like, extremely fast. It looks like a lot, but that tin alloy is just, you know, 1 iron and 1 tin, and I think, yeah, I have it set by 16s, so it's gonna craft it rather quickly once it actually starts crafting that. Oh yeah, see, there it goes. That's how fast it's crafting it. Good stuff. Well, these double tungsten carbides are kind of slow because this is the CNE. I might just make this a C2 because all of these are C2 anyway, so I'm going to take off blocking mode here, and we're going to just call this a C2. We're going to call this a C2 interface at this point. So instead of Ben CNE, we're going to be Ben C2. And I just need to remember, next time I put things in here, there's no longer a generic bending machine, and if I need a generic bending machine, I need to make another input bus down here, and then we can have generic bending. But yeah, those are now processing much more quickly because it's able to use the parallels. Alright, there goes the fusion glass. That should be crafting very fast in our assembler here with our parallels over here. We can watch it, how many items it takes at once. Very satisfying to watch, like, just all the items disappear at the same time. Right? Like, there they go. What are these making? Oh, the fusion glass stuff. So the fusion glass is done. How's our reactor going? Still cutting those chips over there, man. That's so slow. Let's see. Input, hatch. What kind of power do we have? Energy hatch. Ooh, ZPM 16 EPS. Let's use that. And then for the cables, I've been using these for ZPM, like the actual intended ZPM superconductors, because that's just like what I've had. So let's go ahead and replace these input hatches here. When it turns back on, it's going to be like, what? What the heck did you just put in me? Because these are like way faster than what it had before. Alright. Stick those up there, get our wire cutter, connect, and then per normal we gotta take our flux point and put it back, and let's take limit off, and then let's put these in here and see how fast they're going now. Okay, so it took all 16 of them, and it's doing them in 24 seconds. So instead of doing 4 in 45 seconds, now it's doing 16 in 23 seconds. It's also, like, consuming an absurd amount of power. If we go look at our power draw right now, it's going to be ridiculous. I mean, we can keep up with the power, but it is very fast draining our fuel. I looked. Oh, there. See, you just saw it jump down very quickly. And our fusion metal over here. What? Wait, why is this not running? What's going on? Oh, we're out of radon. Okay, hold on. Stop the time in a bottle. Now I can show off my chicken upgrade. So I upgraded my chickens, kind of. I don't know if you've ever played with Project E, but there's something called the Dark Matter pedestal, where you can put some items and they give passive effects, and one of the items is a tick accelerator. So you can see in here just how fast these radon chickens are going and making radon, as well as all of the chickens are going this fast. So all of the gassy chickens are doing that. Like we can look over here and you can see like in real time how fast it's making stacks of gassy chickens, gassy eggs. But yeah, let's go ahead and instead of accelerating the mineral chicken, we can accelerate this thing. And I can accelerate both of them, and then it's actually just so fast that you can't even see it. I need to accelerate the extraction point over here. Actually, I think it might just be broken because it's trying to get all the items out and it cannot. Yeah, you can see how fast it's going a little. It's a little fast, right? All right, let's put all of our radon eggs over here. Those go, and I have them processing. They used to always just process over here, but I also now have them going into these chemical reactors, just so these chemical reactors can help. The rate at which we produce radon is faster than this is using the radon just running normally. Oh, and our fusion computer finished. Okay, enough talking. Let's get the fusion reactor put together. So fusion reactor. So this is what the fusion reactor normally looks like, but I want to have it standing up like this. Really? It's like one block too short? And then how's our spacing over here? Looks like 3 blocks on this side, and then 1 block here. Okay, I'll move it right, and then down by 1. But I think I want the controller somewhere where it's like semi-easy to access, so I might make like a little walkway, and then I think... Well, first let's fix the floor in here. So let's put depth of 1, 9 by 9 depth of 1. Don't want to overmine in here, so let me just... Don't want to overmine, he says. Instantly makes a hole in the wall. Okay. Alright, and rest I can just clean up with the drill. I like that this jackhammer that I've been using like since almost the start of the mod pack is like still relevant. It's just like humorous at this point. Okay, so now when I put this on the floor and preview it, and we also said we want to move it to the right by 1 block. Oops. Alright, now it fully fits in here. It's like against the ceiling, but like that's where we want it, right? Kind of. And then we have 2 blocks. Whoops, got stuck in the wall there. We have one block of clearance now. Yeah, there's 1 block of clearance on this side, and how much clearance over here? 2 blocks of clearance. This is good actually. So I can make like a walkway over here. What kind of walkway would I like? Why don't I make like an actual like? We can make like some frames. Here we go. Some aluminum frames to walk on. All right. So the controller, I'm going to have it right here. Oh, I wasn't done looking at that, but sure, I guess. Why not? Why not take away what I was looking at? Let me go over here and just build the rest of my scaffold. All right. Nice. So now I have a little walkway where I can get up to my thingamabob that I already forgot the name of, the controller. Let me preview this one more time. Okay, so my controller, I'm going to want on top of this block right there. Okay, and then we are going to rotate our reactor. Just like that. Okay, excellent. So I'll be able to come over here, see what's going on. Luckily, it doesn't rotate the interface. And then, yeah, we'll be able to put it together. Let me go ahead and get fusion glass. And we're going to auto build with our terminal. Let's go ahead and auto build. So it did all of the fusion glass. And then the rest we are going to put the coils and the casings. So let me get the casings, let me get the coils, and oh, there was a quest for that. Where was this quest? Probably in here. It just gave us a bunch of coils, and I'm like, buddy, I already like made a crap ton of these. Oh my god. Okay, well, we're still gonna need them for the Mark III fusion reactor, and this is going to be like our we're gonna be making multiple of these. This is the ones we're gonna be spamming, kind of. But all right, we can go ahead now and multi-block build the rest of this. And it's going to say structure incomplete because we didn't put any hatches or buses. But let me see, what do we put where again? So the one where it's glass, those are going to be output hatches. Honestly, the glass is kind of cheap. I don't feel like I want to put output hatches where it's not necessarily needed. So I don't mind having output hatches here and there. These input hatches, though, we're definitely going to want to have input hatches all over because those casings are expensive. So let's get input hatch. We can just get a bajillion of them. Because how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's 16. Okay, we don't need that many. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Alright, so input hatches, we're just going to stick up here. And then... what's going on over here? Did we not have enough coil blocks for this or something? Or maybe it just, like, left blocks for where we would have the hatches? I don't know. One annoying thing is that with a copy-paste tool in this version of Minecraft, you cannot do tile entities, so... kind of SOL building something like this. You just gotta do the tile entities every single time you do it. Alright, so there's the input hatches. We need an output hatch. Output hatch. I'm just going to use like an LV output hatch for now. And then we need ZPM energy hatches. So ZPM energy hatches. And we cannot use 16 amp. We have to use regular ones. And then what are we making? We're making tritanium, right? Tritanium. So tritanium needs 200. It needs 200 energy, and each hatch can provide, I think the, what's it called? The LUV energy hatches provide 10, and the ZPM provide 20. So we're going to need 10 ZPM hatches for that. ZPM energy hatch, 10 of them, please. Normally, you'd be like, holy crap, dude, that's going to take forever. Nuh-uh, watch this. Like, do you see how fast it's making this stuff? It's just insane. Look at those circuit boards go. What's going to be our bottleneck in processing time here? Probably the UHPIC wafers again. Although I'm not really counting on that one being the bottleneck with how fast our cutting machine is now. Probably like circuits are going to be the bottleneck, even though circuits are like as fast as we can conceivably have them without making another circuit assembler. Which, like, another circuit assembler, we don't need that. That's overkill. Like, there it goes, making crystal circuits. Can we make the, oh yeah, we are making these, right? The crystal system on a chip version? Yeah, we should be making them. Alright, there it is. All of the energy hatches are already crafting, so in real time, that only took, like, what, 2 minutes? Pretty good. Sorry, that was probably the most boring footage of the entire all time. Why is it... how is it crafting 10 at a time, though? That shouldn't be the case. Uh-oh. What's going on with our assembly lines again? It's, like, leaked. Shouldn't be able to craft 10 at a time. It should be able to craft 8 at a time. So what happened? Why was it not blocking everything? So 8,000, 8,000. This is empty because it's crafting. I'm not really sure. Like, maybe the blocking mode's not actually working. Let me just go double check that our thing down here is set to do blocking mode. Where's our assembly line one here? Yep, blocking mode. I mean, that's how it should work, right? So if I go and... I don't know which the next assembly line to be used is, but if I put a item back here, and back here, and back here, and back here, it should block those, right? Let me request an LUV motor really quick. Remember when this used to take forever to craft? Oh, crafting one. Hold on. Yeah, how did you get in here? Because this has an item down here. I guess this blocking method doesn't actually work how I thought it did. I tested this before and it seemed to be working, but maybe it's nested too deep and it doesn't work. Uh, hmm. Oh well, I'll need to mess with that if I want to kind of figure it out further. But for now, we are maybe like I could just do it with an interface, you know, we can go back to logistic tunnels, integrated tunnels. Anyways, our 10 energy hatches are done. Oh, and sorry, before I forget, I need to run back and get those input buses out of my input buses because I don't want to... Well, you never want input bus section, but also I don't want this to break a craft that I try to do later because I forgot them in there. Now let's fly into our basement. That seemed painful. Alright. So energy hatches go on the blocks bordering the superconductors. So here and here. And they... Not inside of the reactor. They don't explicitly need, power. Not all of them, anyways. How did I place both of those in the wrong spot? Oh, we're on our last two. Let me put our last two kind of closer to over here, I think. And then let's get a flux point over here. We can call this Fusion Mark II. Okay, Fusion Mark II now has power. You should be structure formed. You are not structure formed. What's the issue here? Oh no, did I put output, input, input, input? What is the problem? Hold on. I actually don't know what the problem is here. Input, input. Inputs are on the... Oh, no, hold on. Because this is turned sideways, I got confused. No, wait, that's correct. So outputs are along the ring, so we have one output. That's all we need, per se. What are we missing here? What is wrong with this? Give me a moment to troubleshoot this. Oh, found the issue. There was a hole down here. Alright, there we go. Multi-block formed, as we saw. And yeah, now we can make a Mark II recipes. We can also do Mark I recipes in here much more efficiently. So if I were to say, borrow my liquid helium, how many channels are on this line over here? Let me double check what we're looking at over here. You know what? I'm not even going to bother. Let me just make a wireless kit. And then let me get my connector. Alright, let's go to our controller. And I can start taking channels from, I guess here would be my next spot to take a channel from. We need to paint it so that it is not white. Any color but white. Let's do not white. Red. Okay. Link that up. Ectoplasm, where did that come from? Tree farm? Alright, so let's put this, like, here, maybe. That'll look cool. And then we can have, like, a dense cable just running, like, across the thing here. Can I do this with, the formation wand? That'd be sick. I don't know if you can do yeah, you can't do tile entities with formation wand. Why can't, like, this version of Minecraft you do any building of tile entities with automated tools? It's very annoying not being able to do that. Alright, looking good. And then I can have an input hatch over here. I can have my output hatch on the bottom as well. So here, let me do a... Whoops, I didn't mean to throw what I just threw. I have accidentally elytra'd. Okay. I didn't mean to elytra. Can I just double jump? Thank you. Alright, let me do an input hatch here. Input hatch. ME input hatch. I don't know why I made so many input hatches. It's kind of comical how many I made. Okay, so that's just going to connect like so. And smart cable is going to come out to reach it. And then we can have a output hatch. I guess that's the benefit of why I had so many hatches, right? And then what did we put here? Fusion glass. All right, structure formed. I guess it lost all the energy when I did that. Oops. I wanted to test how fast starlight and coolant plasma is in here. Oh, but first I want to... Never mind, I don't need to do that. I was going to say I want to run around and put my filters in the output hatches, but that's why I didn't put them, so I don't have to do that. So storage bus, because if you remember over here, all of these output hatches that I did, I just put a filter of water in them, so I wouldn't have to worry about where the actual fusion product is coming out. Alright, just setting up a quick fluid storage bus from here because I'm going to have the coolant plasma directly output into the ME network, and I want to make sure it ends up in the correct tank. Alright, so over here, let's put Starlight. I'm really curious to see how fast this goes in comparison to our previous reactor. The way the overclocking makes it sound that it's going to go 4 times faster, but I'm not too sure. Alright, so we can put our input hatch right there, and away it goes. Okay, well, it's going double the speed and double the energy. That's exactly what the multi-block said it would do, right? So it's doing Starlight coolant plasma. It was taking 1 second before, now it's taking half a second. Okay. So then if we put this in a Mark III fusion reactor, it's going to be going 4 times faster. So it'd be making... Right now it's doing 500 a second. It'd be making 1 a second, right? However, we can always do this trick, you know? We can go with our time in a bottle and go like doop 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 doop. Oops, I just accelerated the freaking output hatch, my bad. Sorry. And that really lets it go. Yeah, look at how fast we're generating it now. Ooh, buddy. Twice as fast as before. Well, twice as fast when it was accelerated. Alright. So I guess the question is, do I want to move Starlight and Gallium over there, or do I want to start making Tritanium? Probably start making Tritanium, but I want to be careful because I don't want to make too much. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a bunch of Duranium I have right now, and I'm going to turn it into some ingots. So how much Duranium do I have? So Duranium, 740. We have... If I take 1,000 Duranium ingots out of this, that'd be 144 buckets. And I think I looked through here before. The only uses for Duranium is making this compound, which is a 10 to 1. So 1,000 could make 10,000 of this, and we don't really need 10,000 of that. We need like maybe a couple thousand. And then the other use of Duranium is tools, which we're not bothering with. I think that might have been the only use, actually. Yeah, I don't think there's any other use for Duranium. The cutting saw for these machines that we're not going to be making. Gear, we're not making. Bolts, rods, foils. Pipes that I'm pretty sure aren't used in anything. Oh, hold up. Hermetic casing? Let's be honest, we're not making this. This is like a deep storage tank, but way more expensive. Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and make Duranium ingots. Duranium. We don't even need the ingot. I can just like turn it into the dust, and if I want the ingot, I can like cook it back up. But let me just make 1,000 Duranium dust. Here, 1024. So yeah, that is now absorbed into the storage. So now we can go and put the rest of the Duranium into our fusion reactor. All right, let's stop making Starlight for now. I'm gonna take my what's it called? Liquid helium back over here. Let me put that back to output over there so that when I want to... actually, this is going to continue making... Even if I put the helium in here, it should continue using the radon and gallium until we are out of gallium. And then it will continue making the coolant plasma. So that should be good over here. And then down here, let me go ahead and put what we need for duranium. So, not duranium, tritanium. So tritanium is liquid duranium and liquid titanium. Cool. Titanium. I don't know how much titanium we need. Let me just go and request some number of ingots. Titanium. Why not 2,000 buckets? Sure. 13,000 titanium? No problem. How much titanium do we have anyways? We still have 20,000 ingots after doing that, and then 80,000 dust. So yeah, no sweat off our back for that. I don't think that's how that expression goes. Oh well. Alright, this is going great down here. And this is... What are we doing? Are we doing tritanium now? Oh yeah, there's our tritanium. Okay. So now we have tritanium. Cool. With that, I think that's going to be it for this episode. With tritanium, I will be converting it into ingots, and I will be making... Probably going ahead and making Oh wait, hang on. UV assembler. Oh, that's a headache and a half. In order to make UV assembler, we're going to need to first get the research to be able to use this stuff, which is going to... Oh, wait, hang on. We would need Durham Stadium. Durham Stadium. I mean, technically I could make this. I'll see. I'll see. Now, I'm probably not going to worry about the coils for now. But I will go ahead and set up the stuff for network switch, and next time we will do network switch and more computation engines. Probably finalize our computation setup. And we'll just go from there, yeah. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.